what to write about. Trying to figure out what it's all about. Existentialist. Am I worth anything or just a scout? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know.
Spending time all alone, sending my songs through the phone, dreaming of a better home, while focused on trying to hone this craft, witchcraft. I hope the brujas let this last.
Don't know if the earth is painted blue.
That was the great sounds of Watson with Outside on WNHHLP 103.5 FM New Haven. Myself is Prestige with my partner in crime, Long Island Rays, Elm City made, EZ Bluez is in the building. Easy, you are always better with introductions more than me. Who do we have with us today on Behind the Brand?
Ladies and gentlemen, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you on a journey. It's raining out. Prestige and I are working at a corporate shill, fast food-ish restaurant. I get a call from Mark Lyon. Our buddy, Mr. Council's throwing a show at Stella Bluez right now. We need you to open. I look at Prestige, I'm like, I'm out. I clock out, I go do the show. I don't even have a guitar. I have to play an acoustic show on electric guitar, but the best part about that entire show, Left Field Rhythms is doing the set after mine. I get introduced to everybody, but the one person that captivated me, one person that went into the crowd and said, give me 2 words, I'm going to give you a freestyle and rhyme those 2 random words and make it make sense. This man is absolutely amazing, one of the best lyricists I have seen, one of the most captivating performers that I know. Also an incredible motivational speaker. His story is by far, pound for pound, one of the best stories out there. And the fact that he can maintain his positivity through the hell that he marched through is incredible. So I want you to put your hands together, unless you're driving, because if you're driving, keep your hands at 10 and 2, no accidents, okay? Mentally, put your hands together. So clap mentally. For my brother, someone I am honored to know, Coach Hawk. Hawk, how have you been, brother?
Brothers, I've been good, man. That introduction humbles me more than I can say. I remember that night very well, and yes, it was a great time, and I'm blessed, man. It's good to see you, Prestige. It's good to see you, Easy. Happy to be here.
It's awesome to have you, man, and it's. The last time we've actually seen each other was at the Los Fidel Mayor Elliker standoff.
Yes, sir.
There was a bunch of chaos, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, it's about to go in a weird direction. And there's a tap on my shoulder, and I was like, oh, everything's going to be okay. And there's Coach Hawk right there, being able to maintain that positivity in some real intense times, which is awesome to see.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Last time I saw you, Hawk, man, you were doing your thing at Vetstock, man. You had a whole band. You had an entire band with you, brother. Like a live rock band behind you, man. It felt really so good to see. You were just doing your thing, going back and forth with them. And I think you had like a couple songs. It was great to see, Bren. It was great to see. I know you're a little cool, calm, and collected right now, but like Easy and I've seen you do what you do. You're entirely different human being when it comes to the stage. That is a guaranteed fact. Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely, brother. But what got you into music? Let's just start that off, with this whole interview, man. Like, what caught your interest to do this?
Well, thank you for the question. I give credit to my parents. My mother's from the islands. Shout out to Dominica. And my father is from Connecticut, but he was born in South Carolina. And we were a house that was filled with sounds of happiness and joy and all emotions, really. But we were heavy into music, and any car ride, it'll be a great story from my father, and then R&B from the 60s up until the 80s for that time for me. And calypso music from my mom. They would get tapes tapes sent up from Dominica, and we would listen to that around the house. And I just saw the joy in my parents, singing, laughing, and joking, and in church, because they were both heavily into church and had us had that experience at a young age, my sister and myself. And I don't know, from a young age, I had a burning inside of me, a connection to that higher power and higher energy of music and rhythm. It's something that's always been there in me, and I'm thankful to be able to share it now and share it throughout time. It's been a great journey, and that's really where it originated from. My parents just had music around me, dancing around me, so like I was a sponge.
Mhm.
I did what I could to imitate, the sounds that my father made, even though I wasn't a baritone yet, and and imitate stuff I heard on TV. Like, all of us are 80s babies on this one. And you all know, like, every TV show had a great theme song.
Right.
That's a part of what you loved. And commercials, the ones that you remembered, had a great song to it, or some jingle or some rhyme. And that was always something that was so interesting to me. Like, I loved being able to try to hit the notes that they do and remember the words to it, from, Who's the Boss to Charles in Charge to, every show, like everything had something. Transformers, I tried to be Optimus Prime. So
Mhm.
that's really my origin. I loved it so much and then honed it into something that I do now.
Gotcha. Was Golden Girls one of those shows?
Absolutely, son. What?
Well, it's so funny because it's something that I also, grew up loving, the different theme songs, and you have a show like Bosom Buddies that had Tom Hanks on it, and then you realize Billy Joel did the theme song for that. And when you start to look back and research, one of the bigger advertising and theme song writers was actually Alan Thicke, Robin Thicke's father, who also played in Growing Pains.
Growing Pains, yeah.
But he was a big time musical arranger, and he wrote the theme song for Growing Pains, and I think a couple of other ones. I think Family Ties as well. So it's so interesting when you start to pull back and you start to see who you become influenced by. Like, to me, one of my favorite theme songs was Rugrats. But that was written by Mark Mothersby of Diva.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
Talking on cartoons, I think Doug, the do. Like, to this day, I'll catch myself humming and walking up and down the halls with, the environment that I'm in. I'm around kids, so I was always a kid at heart, but this place reminds me of it and keeps me keeps me positive and joyful.
Now I want to hear someone sample the Doug theme and have you spit over it. That's all I can think for the rest of the day. That's all I'm going to focus on, and I'm going to reach out to some producers and get it done, because now this must happen. So just so you know, you've opened.
I'm always here. Yeah, I'm always here.
Hawk, who are some of
sir.
your actual musical influence? Like, who are some of the artists, that absolutely just brought you out there and broke you out your shell a little bit more?
I'd say the first one that I remember was Michael Jackson.
Okay.
Just watching little bits of everything that was going on, like when he made the Moonwalker movie, it kind of brought it to another level to me. And then, like, he was an artist who he wasn't debuting on MTV or BET. Like, his videos were released on ABC, NBC. They were worldwide events.
Right.
And seeing that kind of stuff it captivated me. It was like, this is someone who sings, he dances, he did some acting, he was in The Wiz. Shout out to the other version of The Wizard of Oz. But just seeing him and everything that he does and how great he did it was very inspiring to me. So he was number one. Number two is James Brown, because my father played him a lot. And he was another one that was a lot of energy and, degrees of separation. Michael Jackson got a lot of his dance moves from James Brown. So, like, that made a great connection for me. And then when we take it to hip hop, the story always goes like this. Rapper's Delight was the first rap song that I learned all the words to.
Mm-hmm.
Biggie was the one who made me fall in love with hip hop and made me want to listen to it more and more. And Jay-Z was my inspiration to become an artist myself.
Word. Okay. Okay. Tell me about some of the old shows that you went to. Actually, tell me about your first show, because that's what really brought my attention to is just your live performances. Tell me what like the first cipher was like with Coach Hawk. What is your name, Coach Hawk, at first too? This is a two-part question. Also, did you start off as Hawk?
No, my first rap name was Young Hawk.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Gotcha.
That's where I started from, and I'll be honest with you. Like the first time that I had a crowd reaction was I was just Hawk back then. That was my nickname. It was in high school on the bus coming from our first track meet. It was against shout out to Hampton High, class of '99, but it was against Branford and Cheshire, and it was the first time that I was confident around a peer group that I didn't really know. So I had some close friends, but that in that meet, I found an event that I was good at. I ran the hurdles and ended up graduating with the second all-time marks in the 110 from my high school. But that day was the first time that I won a race ever. And we got on the bus and people were doing, if anyone watched He Got Game, it's Shibuya. What? Shibuya roll call. And they were like, Hawk, spit something. Because I always, freestyled and tried little stuff. But that was the first time I ever spit any bars. And the whole bus erupted. Like, everyone went crazy. So I look at that as my first show. Mm-hmm. But that was the first time that I ever performed and got a response back from an audience.
Nice, man. Nice.
Yeah.
And, Easy. Tell me about that first Bedstock show that you saw Hawk with. I believe it was with you, Marshall. It was that incredible story about you guys going on the train there. Where was that? Where was the first Bedstock again? Was it in Long Island or another state?
It was on Long Island, New York. And
okay.
and just so people understand the depths of Hawk's character, we had met at the Stella Blues quickly. We exchanged contact. Hit him up on Facebook, and I was like, because our brother Morgan Sargon, he was putting together Vetstock, and did I know any other like Connecticut artists that would be down to come to New York? So I look at Marshall, and I'm like, let's do this. And he's like, well, I haven't done anything in a while. I was like, I'm sorry, are you making excuses? Because we're gonna make excuses. We're done here. And he's like, no, we're gonna do it. I was like, okay. And then I hit up Hawk. I'm like, I know, like, whatever. Are you down to do this? And within minutes, I'm in. Like, that's it. Like, to the point, this is what it is, give me the details, I'm in. And Marshall and I went down there, which was an experience and a half. It was actually more towards Nassau County area. I think it was a little further deep in Patchogue. And it was a great experience because there was also free food, 2 different stages that are going on there. It was a lot more kind of just like a cookout type of feel. And the hip hop stage, which again, I have no idea why I'm playing on it with my acoustic guitar, and our brother, who we had on the show, Alex Turner, Black Alex, was playing djembe for it. So he, we're sitting there, we're doing it. Marshall comes and he knocks it out of the park. And then Hawk walks in, and what was great about doing it in this bar aspect, and this is kind of like why I envied the hip hop artists as much as I did, because I'm stuck. I have a cord that, I can only go so far away from the sound system because of my guitar and the microphone placing. I can't hold the microphone. I can't really walk out because I have that guitar. And then Hawk is doing this performance, and he walks in the middle of the crowd. And this was one of the most hyped crowds I have ever seen. Like the room wasn't 100% packed, but everybody that was there was up front and like absorbing you. And because we are on Long Island, there's a little bit of a culture clash aspect there. And I know most of Hawk's lyrics, and the song that I love so much, I Can't Breathe. I know what's coming up in the thing. And when you're dealing with veterans, especially, this can go one of 2 ways.
Right.
If it's more towards the conservative aspect, they're going to come back with a little bit of backlash. But you saw everyone unite. And as he's doing with a crowd that he'd never performed in front of before, with pretty much he knew me, kinda. Like we didn't even really bond until that aspect. And then we continued to talk and move forward and stuff like that. He was getting these conservative Christian white males to chant, "I can't breathe." Because that's how amazing the message was and the delivery was and the passion. You have this incredible song about what it is like being over in the sand and being in theater. And your storytelling there. And I think it helped that you went from that song into, you played that song first. So they'd already understood that you understood. You knew the hell that they'd also been through. And you don't do it where you're asking for anyone to give you pity. You don't do it where you're glorifying anything. You're realistic. You're like, this is what it was. This is how it sucked at the moment. And I love how Jay-Z is one of the influences to get you to start rapping because you reference Jay-Z. I believe the line is, Jay-Z on the pod, something along those lines. It's been a while since I've heard the song, so don't crucify me too much.
No worries. You remember very well. I appreciate it.
No problem. So they were able to really connect with you. And that's one of the reasons why I love doing this show, because I think the people that we bring on here, I have an incredible passion for. Whether I know them or I don't know them, I'm already invested in them, and I want more people to become invested in them as well. That's why we do this, because the stories behind everything. You are an incredible storyteller, and that becomes lost sometimes when dealing with the art of freestyle, because when dealing with the art of freestyle, it's about phrasing, it's about rhyme structure, but you're also able to weave a story in there, which is very, very difficult. And from that night, what was the most incredible part was the car ride home. Hawk takes Marshall and I back to CT. We're driving in that little weird horseshoe, and he just puts on a beat tape. We don't listen to anything else, and he starts freestyling. And then he starts trading verses with Marshall for a good hour and a half. I mean, obviously we stopped for snacks because we did some things to get our appetite up. Cardio.
Of course.
Breathing circle cardio. It's very important. If you haven't car danced, you don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah, I understand.
But to sit there, and this actually, anytime anyone ever asks me, like, who do you suggest for a phenomenal cipher? I throw Hawk and Marshall in that conversation, because I was there for an hour and a half of these guys just exchanging lines and taking a word or a phrase that Marshall said and throwing that into your next line, and then him come back and call an answer in that aspect. It was like watching phenomenal sword fighters duel, not to kill each other, but to make that battle last forever. It was lyrical ballet, and I really appreciate that moment.
It was a great soundtrack on the way home.
Oh, it was amazing soundtrack on the way home.
Oh, definitely.
It actually makes me never want to listen to the radio again, if I'm being honest.
But you have no choice on WNHHLP 103.5 FM New Haven. Myself, Prestige, and my partner in crime, Long Island Raised, Elm City made, EZ Bluez is in the building. We have the great Coach Hawk with us. Coach.
Yes, sir.
You're very little stern like a coach right now. I just need you to listen up, man. We're good people right now. With myself, with EZ Bluez, you got great history with us. We're from the same camp, brother. Same radio station. We kind of like both grew over there.
Yeah,
man. We got a little history. I don't have a better history with EZ, as I'm slurring my words, me being a bald headed. I love to say that so damn much. It's great to have you here, man. I love your energy, man. I just need that energy on this program, brother. You're a good person.
I got you, man.
I feel like
thank you so much,
coach. I feel like I'm coaching a coach. This is wrong.
No, man.
Matter of fact,
hold on.
Before you say something, I know there's a light bulb on your head. I want to get this out. You are an actual coach.
Yes.
For your high school, Hampden High School. Is it the Dragons? Is that the right team, sir?
It's the right team, but wrong building for right now. I originally coached. Yeah, I originally coached because I originally coached at the high school. I currently coach at the middle school.
Okay.
I'm also a semi-certified personal trainer. And I work for the town of Hamden. We take from 4th grade up to 9th grade. We teach them basic workouts and self-confidence and how to train the right way for them, because everyone's at a different point in their life. I'm also a certified yoga instructor for asana, for the pranayama, all the breathing practices and some meditation. And speaking to the energy, I am organized chaos. So the less that you can understand about whatever my demeanor may be, the better I feel about what I'm doing. Because when it's time for me to go, I'm always ready. But I like to be, chilling like a civilian. That's how I do. Okay. And also, to speak to the coach and the coach, I'm humble, brother. So I'll always take lessons. I have no problems learning. That's nothing to me, What I have learned through my time over this pandemic is Zoom etiquette. And, normally it's, I would have my mic on mute, to be honest with you. But because this is a conversation and you brothers are, are gracious enough to let me be a part of it, I don't want to step on toes. If you want me to go, brother, I won't stop talking. You know what I mean? If you want to hear the flow, I can start spitting right now. That's no problem. It's just my demeanor and my default is humble. It's humble and kindness, man. Like, I'm a confident, conquering king. You know what I mean? I can, if the world would let me run it, I would. You know what I mean? Okay. Because I feel confident about my abilities to make the best choices. I'm the opposite of Thanos. I want to do the snap too, but snap people. The phrase that's been going back and forth a lot about calling people in instead of calling people out. That's my mindset. Like, I'm not looking to hurt or to harm. I want to teach. And if you're not willing to learn, then I respect what your position is. And that goes with everything, in every walk of life and every facet of life. But my goal is to see things get better and to do a part of that through my actions and through the effects that my actions have on others, whether it be music, coaching a kid in a drill, or walking up and down these halls as a security officer. These are all reflections of my energy and reflections of what I would like to see in the world. Really the multiverse, if we want to take it deep, because our reach as entities is more vast and spreading than we'll ever understand or know. Like, we don't even have the capacity to understand what our effect is in this existence. And I humbly enjoy watching the show and going on the journey. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a fan at all times. I got my popcorn ready. But if they want me to jump behind the camera, I'll start shooting. If they need me to clip the clipboard, action, I'll do that. If they need me to play Denzel or Samuel, I'll do that too. You know what I mean? Like, I'm ready, man. I'm ready. And I'm thankful.
Oh, no, you are definitely the epitome of a utility player. And that's just, I've been in the studio with you. I've been on stage with you. I have been just sitting there talking with my little guys with you and seeing those different type of aspects. Now, you had stated that while in high school, the high school that you actually were helping coach with up until this year, you held the record for your hurdles, correct?
Yes. Okay. When I graduated, I was the all-time fastest in the 110 hurdles. And then the year after I graduated, the young boy that was right behind me, he broke my record. So shout out to that young man. If you guys want to check the record books, I'd rather you go look at everybody. I ain't putting no names out. Go look for everybody.
Well, I wanted to say, I was hoping that it hadn't been broken until you were there, because to me that's the Rocky story, right? Or the Apollo, I guess the newer story of that, the Creed story. Here you are, you're the champ, and you coach the next champ to go take it forward, which I now kind of want to see a movie like that. I could see you doing like a Coach Carter type of movie. I got a lot of ideas. We're going to start writing some things down. We got work to do.
Easy. I'm always thankful for your creative mind and ideas. And like you said, we've done a lot of different kind of projects together, and a lot of times of building. Same thing with you and I, Preston. shout out to that other location that we both came from. But the digital radio is something that we all had our start in and have some type of connection in. So it's a beautiful thing. You ain't got to stop. Keep them coming. Just make sure you write it down.
Definitely.
Yeah, I got to write it down.
One thing I think we have a similarity with Hawk is we both like to adjust very well when it comes to our settings. You have a lot of jobs when it comes to multitask. In your own personal point of view, think can better.
Oh, children without a question.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they're still learning what their choices have effect on, whether it be effect on their behavior or effect on their environment. With adults, they're more set in their choices and they're used to the effects that it has on themselves or their environment, so they're less likely to take correction, and are harder to move around. But kids, I love kids, man. Like I'll take a kid who has issues any day over an adult that's got a small problem. You know what I mean? Like, because that kid, if you keep coming the same way and are an open, honest, meeting them where they're at that moment, just greeting and keeping it moving, it could be the worst day. 24 hours later, it's like it never happened to them sometimes. They hit the reset button a lot quicker, and they're quicker to get back to a balance or to a happy place, and whether it be them coping by not dealing on some level or just the rebound effect, like kids have that type of nature more so than adults. So my answer is kids.
Kids can really change you. They can really change. They change a little bit of just your perspective, if I can barely speak, on just life in general, because that happened to me. I was teaching. Just different ways of just pitching the voice high and up. I was like a little footnote in their life, but they were really better person. That same thing.
Absolutely, I get it every year. The student athletes that I work with have been the most impactful part of my life to date. And I say that because I got a little student athlete at home that's already got me working hard, and he's been such a joy and such an impact, and I know it's only going to be more so. But to go to the other end of the spectrum, I have kids that I've worked with at young ages that are now working in corporate America, that are out in military service, out of grad school. Like I've been involved in their lives and the youth's lives so long that I have that turnaround of kids coming back and saying, wow, Coach Hawk, like you were so helpful to me, and just teaching me to say yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am, opened so many more doors for me, and it humbled me, and it gave me the confidence to walk in any room. Like that I totally agree with them having such a big impact on you, and you being a footnote in their life, because that's the way I felt. I felt like, I'm your freshman football coach, or I'm the jumps coach on the track team, or I'm your middle school basketball coach. Like I wanted to always have that lasting effect and be there for them if they needed me as a resource. But I can never express my gratitude enough to how much they've helped me be a better person and motivate me to do positive work. And like I said, I'm gonna pour all that into my child and continue to keep it going so that he can pour it into other people throughout his life.
Any students ever challenge you lyrically? You ever shut them down?
Many times, many times. And I'm Coach Hawk, so I'm humble, but I take no L's.
Don't.
I take no L's, and I'll be this is to speak to that. So we used to do Freestyle Friday in our cafeteria at Hampton Middle School. And I would just walk around with the mic. I'd be like, hey, you know, I'll spit something. I'll spit a song you guys know on the radio, and then I'll spit some of my stuff. But if you got a joke, you just want to give a shout out, or you want to sing or rap, grab the mic. Just keep it clean. So out of nowhere, kids started, challenge me to a battle. So this one kid got up. I was like, yo, let's have a cipher. Let's just go back and forth. He's like, nah, we're going to battle. And I was like, fall back, son. You're way too eager. You sitting here looking like a brown-haired Bieber. The whole cab.
Prepare from you. That's small.
And that's all I said. You know, I didn't even, and everyone's like, yo, he does look like Justin Bieber. Oh my God. I'm like, I didn't want to give it to him, but I am ready and loaded at any time. For anyone. It could be the best MC or any child. And there's, like I said, there's been a few that's battled me.
Well, that is absolutely incredible, and it's so real, and it's so important because you're giving these kids a platform. One of the biggest things, especially in the areas that we all are currently in, kids have a tendency to feel voiceless, and that's a huge thing. You know, when legally you are kind of I'm going to walk that line, but you are considered property of your parents until you're 18 years old. You cannot legally get into a contract. You cannot legally own a home. You cannot do all of this stuff goes through your parents. You are an extension of your parents. And because of that, that helps to dwarf your voice. And then on top, you're then going through these systems that don't necessarily, and again, I'm walking this very fine line.
You're doing a good job.
You know, you have these educational systems that are not generally crafted to benefit every single person the same exact way due to environmental, due to learning disabilities, due to chemical malfunctions of the brain, due to different things. We are like, what I love about the program you do for the health aspect with the kids, you stated not everyone, you know, has the same level of fitness. Not everyone's program is the same, yet we have these big, huge educational systems where not everyone learns the same, but they are forced to learn the same. And that, again, can make these children feel voiceless. So that moment of Freestyle Friday, where you just let that person shine, is a huge thing. And that is something that they can bring forward into the next time. And hopefully, I want to see that kid that challenges you on the first Freestyle Friday, and then waits a month and challenges you on the next month, and then starts honing his skills and getting better. And then senior year, maybe he comes close. I'm not saying, you know, he goes for the crown, but, you know, you get to see that growth, because by senior year, I could probably guarantee you that also going to be doing some of the top stuff he's doing in class, because he has that confidence, or she has that confidence, or they have that confidence of who they are. They're learning who they are by this interplay, because you're giving them that opportunity to have that voice. Something that I was blessed enough to have at a young age because I was raised by wolves. So it was easier for me. You know, I was making household calls at 8 years old. So, you know, I had a little bit more power at that point in time, and I'm sure a lot more trauma. But you know, these kids can feel so voiceless and so dejected and so marginalized, and that grows an adult to feel the same way. And when you get into adulthood and then you think that your vote doesn't matter, that no matter how you feel about this, you know, it's not going to go forward, that you can't hit up, say, our good friend, Hamden Councilman Justin Farmer, and have a conversation so that he can then go to the city council and get to move things better and better and better. I'm really stating that Freestyle Friday can have this incredible ripple effect that I think is so beautiful. And thank you for that, because I can't wait to see the future leaders that come out of that.
No doubt. Thank you so much, man. And just to touch real quick on the whole educational systems, you know, it's based on the whole industrialization time period. So you're working a system currently based on a time period when the nation was building, and it was mostly factory work and farm work. You know, those are the main things, or working at the ports. You know what I'm saying? Working on boats. So now you have an educational system designed for that culture and that time period, applied to kids who have smartphones and iPads, and we have internet, and we have all these advancements in life, and we have kids who may never need to go to a algebra class or advanced literature, and could go straight into learning how to work a board for music, learning how to do any one of the myriad of trades, or just being an artist and learning how to hone that craft. Like, so not only are we failing the kids on the way that we're teaching them, as far as the structure of the entire system, we're failing them on what we teach them. And it's so monochromatic as far as like how the dimensions of what they teach and how they teach it. That's a whole nother story, but that's the biggest problem with the system, is that we're operating. It's like trying to put the first F-150 in a race against the 2021 model. The parts just don't match up. You know what I mean? So like, you can't expect these kids to thrive in the masses when you have a system that's so outdated, like and biased in so many different ways, culturally, monetarily, humanity. Like, it's just biased, man. I can't even. Sometimes I get tripped up when I get passionate, because it's something that's so easy to fix if they just decided to fix it. Like, people complain about there's so much that can't be done, but like you said, that Freestyle Friday makes a difference, you know, and all things like that, and moving in that direction, changing policy and changing structure, like those things can be done if we decide to do it. But I'll get off my soapbox. That's for the old heads.
The good soapbox. It's a good soapbox, and it's a conversation that needs to happen. It is. And coming from an educator's point of view is extremely important. You're on the ground floor. It would be like, you know, incredible tactical generals. They don't have just conversations with their officers that are also sitting in the same, fobs as other people. They also have conversations with the people on the front lines, because you actually see it. Maybe you have some sort of idea on what's about to happen because you're engaged in it. You know,
I know what's about
I agree.
to happen, though. He's on WNHHLP 103.5 FM New Haven, behind the brand, myself, Prestige, and Long Island Raised, Elm City made, EZ Bluez is in the building. We got Coach Hawk with us on Behind the Brand. Hate to cut you off, sir, but I got to do what I got to do. Go right ahead.
It's on you, brother.
It's on you, man. It's on you. I'm passing the baton to you with your answer. I didn't mean to cut you off. I just had to do the little protocol we had to do, Hawk.
No, I understand, man. It's about the business.
Yes.
No, but it's incredible to see. It's incredible to know and to understand. You know, we're behind the brand. One of the biggest parts of your brand is that give back. Is that, working, you state, you work with Hamden Town to make sure that, from 4th to 9th grade, you're dealing with the physical fitness aspect of it. Now, of course, you're going to have people, because any type of thought is subjective. So there's going to be people, oh, you're not forcing anyone, you're offering. And if they get involved in it, they make a commitment to it. And it has been scientifically proven that, the better care you take of your physical health, your mental health will also prosper. Plus, the more regimented you can get your brain into a routine, it is more susceptible to the routines of being successful. No way are you saying everyone has to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger and give up their entire life to be, on a bodybuilding aspect. What you're saying is you're creating the healthiest individual for that individual's needs. And that, again, is another incredible piece to move forward with. and something that kids especially need. You know, one of the things that really always hit home for me in doing like the military training and different things were they never quite explained to you the why. You know, there was more to you doing trash pickup or parking lot sweep than just making sure you picked up all of sergeants, you know, the cigarette butts or, you know, the monster cans that everyone left out. It was a matter of making sure that you could look and identify something that doesn't look like it belongs there. And that translates to being in the field. That translates to being able to identify an IED. That translates to questioning before acting. And I feel like that was always lost. They never explained it. But once you got it, it was natural thing. And it's incredible. And I'm lucky enough to get it early. But I do feel there was a whole bunch of kids, you know, young 18-year-old kids come through that never had that. They never really understood why they were doing it. So it was just sergeant is being a bad word because we are on terrestrial radio. So I cannot say it, you know, but it's that structure that you need to move forward. And discipline is incredible and it is needed. And structure and discipline is so important. But you also have to have the educational aspect of it. Just telling someone they can't do it makes no sense, or just telling someone to do it this way makes no sense. But giving them the education of the why they can't do that, or the why they have to do it a certain way, actually gives them the power and they're able to take a lot more responsibility. What do you think about that?
I totally agree. 1,000%. 1,000%. I was actually having a conversation with someone the other day about my basic training experience. And I told them, we learned how to do cigarette butt detail, plug grass in between any part of the concrete, and how to carry water, carry supplies, wax floors, mop floors, clean bathrooms. We learned more about that than anything that was actually military oriented from an outsider making a claim of what would be military. Like it was more, and it goes all to your point. Like we were taught the skills, but not told what the mission was. And those skills to this day are timeless for me. And it's part of why I think, you know, I fell into the mode that I am now. Like, for any one of the different branches of the military, you know, I can't really speak to it too much, but for Army, a soldier has no one job. Whatever the needs of the mission are, that's what you'll do, and you play your part within your team. You know, if you have to take the lead, take the lead. If you have to drive, drive. But that's a part of what I gained from it. So I totally agree with you. Totally agree with you. Most definitely.
That's awesome. Now, when you're applying that with your students, and even having those conversations, now was that with a fellow educator or was that with a student?
It was with a combination. It was a fellow educator that had some students with them, and the students were complaining about doing a part of the project, and I was like, and I interjected with what I just spoke on. And they laughed about it a little bit. So,
it's hysterical, and I know that even like through AIT, when you went on rock detail, where you literally had to kick the rocks off of the concrete to go into the rock beds. You're like go, like literally the sergeant would be like, go kick rocks.
Like,
literally.
Like literally,
I believe it.
And this was just around the time where like cell phones were starting to get really big and you were able to film things. So we started like filming like Army, like join the Army commercials of like, we downloaded the whole commercial theme song, you know, be strong, it's the Army strong. And we'd just slowly be kicking rocks on the sidewalk.
Do you still have those recordings?
I do not. Those recordings got confiscated because Sergeant Major saw us doing them.
All right.
Sergeant Major saw us doing them, and I didn't get in trouble. because I was able to explain how it could be used as a training tool. And then he called me a training tool, and I had to do some extra detail. So yeah. That was the same sergeant major that found out I was a singer back on Long Island, and demanded that I sing or I wasn't getting leave for the weekend.
That's what's up. So you hit him with the Army song, right?
No, he didn't want the Army song. I was actually told I had to, I also had to figure out what genre of music he liked within 34 seconds, because he's like, all right, he's like, do something. So I'm like, I was like, went to go in the Army song. He's like, I'm not dumb. I was like, so I hit him with Lean on Me. I figured it was a safe call.
I'm a little bit under the rock. Hold on. What's the Army song? I'm under the rock. What is I never was in the Army. What is the Army song? Tell me.
The Army song.
It's a song that, depending on what station you're at, they make you sing it in the morning before you work out.
Really?
And like at 6:30 they play Reveille on the post, so you can hear the trumpet. And we had to sing. I was 3rd ID, 3rd Infantry Division, Marne soldier. But that was out of Fort Stewart, and we had to sing one of the verses of the Army song every morning, and then we had to sing the 3rd ID song. But yeah, it's an actual song. It's got like 3 verses. I'm racking my brain right now to try to think of one line because I hated it so much. But
well, see, this is it's really funny because in basic training, again, I get hit with the word song, and because of my background, I'm figuring out the melody and all that kind of stuff. So the first time a drill sergeant screaming in my face goes, "Give me the Army song," I started singing it like I was on Star Search. Just all. And bro, my entire career that followed me. Like they were just like, oh, you're the songbird, aren't you? Why don't you sing the Army song for us? I was like, I make one mistake. Day zero, I make this mistake. Okay. And it followed me everywhere. I wound up having to actually, at Fort Gordon, when you go, before you go on Exodus, instead of doing a safety briefing, they do a safety show where they pick soldiers and you have to perform. I wound up in an elk costume because of damn singing the Army song. I'm not even kidding. And there's no video footage of that either. I've looked. So
now you guys got me right, because the mind works more than we realize. So it's high, hey, the Army's on its way. Count off the cadence loud and strong.
2, 3, 4.
So where you go, you will always know that the
Army goes marching along, rolling.
Yeah. And both of them.
That's never going to get out of my head. Thank you, guys. That's
it is forever. It will eat your soul forever now.
Yeah. We figured we needed that.
I got the best version of the song with you two, though.
No doubt. We figured you needed that.
Exactly. Yeah, they actually, at one point, they started calling me American Idol, which was hysterical. Oh my gosh. That was horrible. Having to do it while rappelling from the wall was, I think, one of the most embarrassing ones I had to do. Yeah.
But let's talk about you more, Hawk. Any upcoming events or anything you got, like music-wise, you have coming for 2021, or something you got planned for 2022? Because you're always thinking ahead.
So let's pull everything forward. So we dropped an EP in 2020. This is Atlas. You can find it on all digital platforms. So that was an acoustic version of most of our songs. And we have a studio version that we're going to release in the fall of this year with a couple other songs that haven't been heard. That's the immediate short-term goal. There's always songs being created. I'm working constantly, which means I'm not doing anything at all. But there's creative works in process.
Yeah.
And things are starting to open up. So there's some venues that approached us for doing some gigs. We're just looking to be as healthy and safe as possible, and want our fans to do the same. So, we encourage people getting vaccinated and social distancing, wearing the mask when needed, good hygiene always. Like, don't let a pandemic make you hygienic. No. It's ridiculous. But anyway, I didn't mean to spit that bar, but it's the truth.
I love it.
Yeah, but that's what's going on, man. Just staying creative and staying positive. I'm looking forward to anything that works within my schedule as far as making any type of media, positive stuff. And like we said, any venue or organization that's looking to hire myself or the band as well, we're just looking for opportunities. Right now, it's just the focus is staying healthy and staying diligent on making more content and pushing out the content that we have now. So
definitely. And when it comes to staying healthy, man, and more diligent, let's talk about these upcoming games for the Dragons. Are you guys ever going to get like a live audience back? Since no concerts and like different kind of group gatherings are happening, is that going to be happening within the kids this coming year, or at least like in the summer or spring of 2022 for you guys? I know you with actual kids when it comes to
absolutely. So, excuse me, for CIAC, which is the organization that runs high school and youth sports for Connecticut, they've lightened up some of their restrictions. So, for spring sports this year, there have been people that are allowed to attend. So, if you're in the same household, you can sit together. And if you're not, we just ask you to distance at our different events, but it's governed by the athletic director of a given facility. So as of right now, this past year, Hampton High had spectators for their spring sports.
Right.
The middle school also had spectators for our spring sports. So our baseball and softball teams both had spectators, and I think that it's going to continue to move in that direction as long as, again, we practice safe habits and continue to be mindful of each other, of ourselves and each other, and continue to move in that direction. I look toward the future with great hope of being able to scrape some people on the basketball court and having some fans there to support us and cheer us on. We have the greatest fans, from the teachers to the students that they started to allow to attend our games, and the parents, the backbone of our whole community. The parents are able to come in and bring it all together so we can make those connections.
Hawk, unfortunately, as we reached our last half minute of Behind the Brand, it was great having you on. Great to learn from you. Hope we get you on the show one more time before the end of the year's out, because there's so much. I think we just reached just a little bit of your knowledge and everything, because you have a lot to say. But before we go, please give your social media and anybody who is just meeting you for the first time or where to find you before we leave.
No doubt. Real quick, I am Coach Hawk on all platforms. Anywhere you go, look for that and you will find me. I'm a positive guy, making positive connections. You got something negative, learn how to make it positive. That's it.
Right. Hawk, thanks for being here with us on Behind the Brand on WNHHLP 103.5 FM, New Haven.
Stop the violence, start the learning. Yeah. Everybody in the U.S. and around the globe. Something that you should already know. When you're in trouble, they tell you to call 911. But who do you dial when the crime's committed by one of them? Told to protect and serve and stress the word. Slamming you on the sidewalk, flesh the curb. It's absurd, observe suburban, urban living. Many pass it, not knowing what they're not getting. News mentions way too many martyrs right now. R.I.P. Eric Gardner, Young and Mike Brown. All the Tamir Rices left out there lifeless. Examples of rhymeless, no reason violence. He didn't threaten none of them boys in blue. Lift his shirt to show a weapon and they gave him 2 gut shots. Hit him right up in his lunchbox. 12 and dead. No time card, punch clock. All things fall in the category have not. Taken away from people who don't have lots. So you already know I can't leave until I tell the officer that I can't breathe. I I can't breathe. I can't breathe. Left my blood, sweat, tears, and snot on the sleeve. Somebody gotta tell this cop that I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. Son is just an American giving you a comparison of your state of mind and the place that they all say Aaron. Definitely sharing gems, you just tell him where and when. Freestyler written, he's proficient with the air and pen. Arming the youth with truth, take away the weapon then. Helping them develop a tougher than leather second skin. Never let the rest begin to give you what's been stressing them. Thinking that the chances of you making it are extra slim. Champions are built through adversity. Keep bringing out the best, even though I know you want the worst from me. Comparing my rhymes to cursively written nursery. Radio rotten rappers who fail to show the diversity of here and now, representing how we present presence with a presidential style. This gift rap, I hope you hear it now, cause now that it's here, you gon' hear it for a while. You already know, I can't leave until I tell the officer that I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. Left my blood, sweat, tears, and snot on the sleeve. Somebody gotta tell this cop that I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. You know how it goes down in all of your hometowns. Ankle bracelets, people on homebound, cops on slow prowl, locks that go pow. With police, a whole cow. Lucky one survive, go right to their trial. Same message gets sent right to their child. To me, that scenario's trite and quite foul. MCs have the power to write this right now. I do what I do, rhyme and provide you perspective so mindful, tough and kind too. Can you walk a line through the valley of death when you know that there's not too many valiant left? Don't come with peace but bring the heat when only violence is left. Got a certain skill set, code of silence myself. Wanna gamble with your life, what's the line on your health? Keep tools for you fools inside of my belt. Or should I say waistline? I just don't waste time. I take your heartbeat and put it on the baseline. Put it on the baseline. So, you already know I can't leave until I tell the officer that I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. Left my blood, sweat, tears, and snot on the sleeve. Somebody gotta tell this cop that I can't breathe. I can't breathe.